Did I really just put radiant floor heating in my tiny house? Am I that crazy to do that? You bet I did. What's going on, everybody? We're doing another tiny house build, vlog, DIY, whatever you want to call it. I'm mostly known for doing tours on my channel because I do those once a week because I love doing tours and I love showing other people. But for all of you that don't know, I actually, do building stuff, and I do, other types of vlogs where I talk to the camera, and I call it Tocci Talks, and I kind of give a review or breakdown of maybe a van build or maybe my thoughts on a product or whatever it might be. I haven't done a building update on the tiny house in quite some time. It's been like 2 weeks now, so maybe even 3. I started a playlist that has all of the tiny house build stuff in it, and I'm documenting it week whatever of week whatever. This could be like week 15 or week 16 of, and then I put question marks because I have no idea how long this is going to take me. But one of the biggest obstacles to my entire build is what is below me, which is the radiant floor heating, which is all the piping that is in the floor. There's close to 300 feet of tubing in this floor. Inside that tubing eventually will be glycol. Glycol is an antifreeze. It's also food grade, which means it's non-toxic. Now, I don't think I'm the only person that has built a tiny house, whether it's DIY or professional, that has installed a radiant floor heating system. But I do know I am the first to do the VanLife Tech system. VanLife Tech is really known for doing it in vans. I had it in my second van, and through the recent, cold vortex that the US just went through, I can tell you firsthand that every single VanLife Tech system out there held up without any problems whatsoever. The system I had in my van, I took that up to Banff, Canada, and it was below 0 degrees, and it held up amazingly well. And that is why I wanted to use that same system in my tiny house. Now, the tiny house I'm standing in right now is 24 feet in length, 8 feet wide. So I am building this as kind of like a larger scale van. Also, in these videos, I have been getting a lot of questions on where did I buy my trailer and the framing that is behind me. This entire frame is a kit that was bought and ordered from the company Trailer Made Trailers. Well, now I've been friends with the Trailer Made people, and I have an affiliate link for everybody down below. If you are interested in doing your own tiny house, you can now order from Trailer Made Trailers. Now, if you know me at all, you'll understand that number one, I won't plug somebody else if I really like them. And number two, I am a huge advocate of really good customer service. I really feel that the customer service at Trailer Made Trailer is amazing. Now, I wasn't allowed to show the install of the VanLife Tech system because, well, there's just some patents on it, and we all have to sign an NDA when we buy the kit. I actually did buy this kit as well. Really share much information about it other than it's in the floors now, and there's a bunch of tubing, and I'm gonna hook it up, and I'm gonna have probably the most BA heating system a tiny house could ever imagine. Now, this is not a warming mat. This is not a floor mat. This is radiant heat. It is, and I've said this before, I'm no thermodynamics expert, but I can tell you right now that this has a different feel heat-wise compared to a warming mat. Regardless, the person that owns VanLife Tech is a thermodynamic expert, and he has over 20 years experience in the heating and cooling, field. So I trusted him wholeheartedly, and that is why I went with them. In the last video, I talked about the installation. I showed the installation being installed. It is a closed cell spray foam, and all of my wire has been set. But now I have zero excuses because the floor is down, and now I can start building all of my custom cabinetry and furniture. After I'm done recording today, I actually have to tape all of the windows with this zip tape right here. Now, I started doing it, and I'm going to show you on the other side. It's a little bit darker over here, but we're going to make it work. So I started with these 2 windows up here. As you can see, they are already taped up, or actually it's 3 windows. And now I got to do the other ones, and look at the scaffolding. I'm going to show you a little bit of the tape job and how not fun that is. Installing the windows is a 2-person job. So luckily I have a friend that is going to come down here, and he's going to help me install the windows. I got all my window stuff over here. I went and got some caulking, boom. I got screws. I'm not using a nail gun because I don't have a nail gun with me. Let me tape off the rest of these windows because it shouldn't take me too long, maybe the next 2 hours or so. And I'll show you actually how one does right now. But I also want to show you what I got over there on the table, which are all my samples. So we'll end the video going over all the samples. And the reason I want to talk about the samples is because I'm getting to that point in the build where I need to start figuring out colors of finishes, what I'm using for finishes, how they're going to be fastened to the wall, etc. and so forth. So let's get up on the scaffolding and I'll show you how one of the windows are being taped off. Now, I am no pro, and I've said that many times on my channel before. I am a DIY extraordinaire. However, I try to give tips where tips can be done, but I'll also throw out there that I've watched about 3 different videos multiple times about how to tape the window off properly, and then also how to install the windows. What I'm gonna be using is the zip sheathing tape. I use the 6-inch stretchy on the sill, and then I use the 3-inch to go all the way around. I did spray foam insulation before I did all of this. Probably shouldn't have done. I should have probably taped first and then did the spray foam, but you live, you learn. You know, mistake on my part. So I actually have to clean up all of the edges. So I've got my scraper here, and you see that I have to like clean up all the spray foam right there. Oops. I had time to tape the windows. I should have just taped the damn windows. I'm gonna tape 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, and way over there, 7. Kinda stinks doing this all by yourself. Wish I could afford a team. So now the windows are started taping everything. I needed a little bit of a break to talk to you guys about what's going on behind me and all the samples that I've got. But as you guys saw, that was just one window. Obviously I time-lapsed it, I sped it up. Behind me here on this table is all of the samples that I've been coming up with, and then I've reached out to companies and I've asked them for what I want for finishes. I've already talked about this in other videos that I want my walls to be a combination of these two, whether it's like a concrete look and a brick look, and I'm probably gonna use the brick as like an accent. The concrete is gonna fill it throughout. Using concrete and brick, you don't want it to feel like a prison, or different types of contrast to break up the prison-like feel. And I also don't want all white walls, because then I feel like I'm in a mental institution. With the concrete, the brick, and then I wanna use pipe as like a pipe decor as like also an accent piece. I need to think about cabinet color, the upholstery color on my cushions. All of those things need to be thought of, maybe before where I'm at, but definitely where you are right now in the tiny house build. You want to actually have a general idea, because you're going to start moving so fast and you have to start making decisions on the finishes, at least at this point. For example, I'm building a Murphy bed. Now I've got all the wood right there for my Murphy bed and other types of stuff. I even have all the Murphy bed hardware down here. I ordered my Murphy bed from Rockler. Spent a little bit of money on that, but that thing is awesome, because I'm about to start building the Murphy bed, and I need to make sure when you like open up the Murphy, what's gonna be the finished look on the inside? Am I gonna be painting it? Am I gonna be staining it? How is that look gonna be? Am I gonna use a veneer? And the reason I say that is because the brackets and the mounting hardware is gonna go directly onto the wood. Well, whatever my finish coat is gonna be, I need to finish the inside walls before I attach all the hardware. On step 2 of these instructions, you pretty much put the hardware on the side panels to have the Murphy bed go down. So I'm like, okay, now I need to decide, am I gonna have it raw wood? Because if you attach it and then you realize, well, I wanted a color on that to like make it seem a little more finished, you'd have to like take apart everything unless you want to paint around all the brackets. That would be really annoying. Depending on what I go for, my cabinet fronts, I can now use that as maybe the side panels of the Murphy bed. So when the bed is down, there's a little bit of matching of color. Okay, well now I need to figure out what color cabinetry do I want. I wanted to do a sample of OSB with a black frame, and I love that look, especially because I'm going for the industrial vibe feels, the loft feels. I'm calling my tiny house Loft in the Woods. It's a pun on Lost in the Woods. I think that's a little too garagey. I know that's not a word, but it feels like too much of a garage and not like a loft. So that look is gonna look really cool in my custom shop when I get my land. Oh, by the way, dropping this right now. I did purchase land. I have a short out getting land, and I'll throw the short up right now. Huge announcement, everybody. I just left the bank, and right here is the check that I am sending to the realtor company for the piece of land that I just purchased. Lots more details to come, but I figured I'd let you all know that land is coming. I now have a place to put the tiny house that I am building. I'll talk to you guys where it is when I start developing the land, but I have to do septic, I gotta do water, I gotta do site development, I gotta do a lot of things to this land before I even get it going. I can tell you this much, it is in the mountains of Maine. Across the street from me is a lake, and there's even a stream that runs right through the middle of my property. So there's going to be a lot of development that I'm going to do with a shop space, possibly another home, my tiny house. A lot of things coming in the future. On that land, I'm super excited. I'll give you guys more details when I close and when everything starts going into motion, and I got to do all the due diligence. I've already done a bunch, but I have to do more. Anyways, the custom shop, those cabinets, like that kind of look, I think would look super cool inside of my custom shop space. I love like the raw look of OSB when it's like a finish with like a really nice coat on it, like a nice sealer. I think it's nice. So then I was like, well, I'm still going for this loft feel. Flooring, I'm probably gonna actually go with a cork. Now I haven't got any cork samples, but I also need to make sure that whatever cork that I use also works with the radiant floor heating, and it doesn't like, the glue and the cork doesn't separate. I wanted like darker vibes in there because of the industrial look. I still need like an earth tone. So I want to do like blue cabinets, which are right here. I went over to the hardware store and I picked up some other stuff, but I also picked up 4 samples of different blue. I kind of feel like that scene in Devil Wears Prada where she's like holds up 2 belts and they're 2 shades of blue.
It's a tough call. They're so different.
Now I feel why that is. There's 4 different types of blue, and I'm actually leaning towards this one right here, which is a little bit darker than the others. I might work off of that. I might try and get a more of a like a midnight blue, fly by night blue. So I already showed you guys the wall samples, but I'm leaning very much towards the ones down at the front here, which is a brick as an accent, and then this is a washed gray concrete or the industrial concrete look. They come in massive panels, like 4 feet by 2 foot panels, pipe decor like I talked about. This is going to be a lot of the accent pieces that I have. That is a poplar wood stained with a walnut. I'm probably gonna go with either a actual walnut, or I might also consider rosewood. I think rosewood might have a better contrast with the industrial look that I'm going for, because I still need a lot of warmth. And to be honest with you, I might even do an entire wood countertop as my kitchen. Bathroom is gonna be something completely different, by the way, guys. That's for a different day and a different set of samples. This was from a company called Kingery Slate. I did a tour recently, and the tour that I did, Tiny Planet, actually turned me on to this company. I reached out to them, asked them for a sample pack. It's not that hard, guys, to call up companies and just ask them for samples. They sent me this one for free. I paid for those, but those were cheap. You know, you call up Wall Theory, which is where I got these from. Wall Theory, you pay like whatever it was, like 15 bucks per sample. In my opinion, it's worth it because you want to see what it looks like. This is one thing, getting like a little tone, but actually painting it and feeling it out is something completely different. Now down here are the 2 samples of the outdoor color, the aluminum and the steel. Now I'm going fully aluminum, not using any steel, but if something was to happen to the tiny or to the like a bird flies into the side or something, aluminum doesn't rust is my point. If something was to scratch the metal on the side and I'm using a steel, it could technically rust, and rust is just a killer. We don't want rust. Yeah, it's more expensive, but I think longevity wise, I think it's worth it. Why is that important? Well, I want all of that to match too. I want the contrast from the outside to move into the inside. Now that I have the land, I might want to feel how it's going to be on that land. I need to know these things. I'm leaning towards like a green as the exterior with like a dark color roof. We'll see. I might change my mind. I mean, honestly, that regal white, very clean, very modern looking. I can tell you this much, my land is in the mountains, and having it blend in the wintertime would be kind of a cool effect. It does get pretty green where I am in the summertime, so having that green effect to it would be kind of cool too. I don't know. We'll see how I go with it. Real quick on the Kingery Slate, I don't know if I'm going to use it. I thought it was a really cool like thing to have. They're very like, they're real rock. Like, and it's a bunch of different types of them. It's slates. That's why they're Kingery slate. I was thinking about using it for my shower walls, like the company that I showed, the Tiny Planet, they use it for their shower walls. I really like that feel to it. I think I'm gonna go with a little bit something different. I found a really nice FRP board thanks to another company that I toured. So guys, I wanted to give you guys a little rundown of really what's been going on in my head, what's been happening, because there's been so much that's been happening. The stress of me finding land is now gone. I have been looking for land for the last 6 months, found something I liked. I went and looked at it. I love the area. I think it's a great investment opportunity. I think it's a great place for me to settle down for a little while. It's a great thing for me to build a custom shop, have Ghost Design and Builds operate out of this space. Before I say goodbye to everybody, I just want to show you guys one last thing. Look at this thing that just came in. This is real. I spent a lot of money on this, and it is a ductwork. It's 16 inches in diameter ducting. This pops right off, don't worry about that. What this is going to do, I told you I was going with the industrial vibes. That is going to hold the AC evaporator. Cut into this, I'm gonna have to put some vents into it. I'm gonna make it look like an industrial type venting system. And it's gonna hang right up over here. It's gonna be really cool looking when it's all said and done. That is kind of the updates that I have on the Tiny. Hopefully in the next tiny house update, I'll be able to show the windows installed. I went with the Anderson 100 series, so you guys will be able to see all of that. And I hope to not only show you the windows, but I hope to show you the Murphy bed on how I built all of that. So now I have no excuses. It's time to get to building all of the furniture. I'll see you guys later.
I could conquer the night if I can make it